Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Let's begin together by standing and singing together. Please, will you join us?
Good morning. I'm Jen Thomas, Director of Congregational Life here at First Unitarian Portland. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're joining us here in the sanctuary or online, a warm welcome to us all. Today, we worship around our monthly theme of transformation, and our sermon Tom is delivering is about each of us and all of us. It reminds us that transformation is never a solo journey. It happens in relationship, in the moments when we show up for one another, when we choose to be changed by what we share together. We also have a very special treat today. Please join me in welcoming our musical guest, Bobby Jo Valentine. Oh, there he is. Bobby Jo is an explorative, hopeful, spiritual, queer artist who strives to make music and poetry that is good medicine for everyone. Bobby Jo has won multiple awards for his songwriting, given a TEDx talk, and is a believer in the soft and steady power of everyday acts of love to heal our world. Welcome, Bobby Jo. And also today, we have a particular joy in recognizing the people who have chosen to join this community over the past year. New members joining us for the first time, and returning members finding their way home. To all of you, you are not joining an institution. You are joining this community. We are better for having you here. I would also like to add that we have a couple of new and returning members joining us online, so welcome to you as well. And now, today, if this is your first time and you want to start this journey with us, I want to personally invite you to the Welcome Circle over here on the north side of the sanctuary. It's happening right after service today. And it's a warm and informal gathering, a chance to meet some folks, ask some questions, and get a feel for the congregation. We would love to see you there. Now, don't you think it's a good time for us to greet our neighbors? Yay! Let's do it. Irene will be lighting our chalice this morning, and Irene's mother is joining the church today, so yay. We are Unitarian Universalists. We light this chalice in faith, in hope, and in love.
Words for our call to worship come from Anne Hillman. We are all on a journey together to the center of the universe. Look deep into yourself, into another. It is to a center which is everywhere. That is the holy journey. First, you need only look. Notice and honor the radiance of everything about you. Play in this universe. Tend all these shining things around you. The smallest plant, the creatures and objects in your care. Be gentle and nurture. Listen. As we experience and accept all that we really are, we grow in care, we begin to embrace others as ourselves, and learn to live as one among many. Come now and let us worship together.
Now we come to one of my favorite moments of the year, the moment we get to say out loud in front of everyone, "You chose us and we choose you back." We have 28 new and returning members that we're recognizing today. They didn't just join today. Some of them have been joined for the last 6 months, but we're recognizing everyone here today. Some are online, and some will take part in ways that feel good to them, however it makes they feel the most comfortable. I'd like to invite our new members to come forward in front of the chancel here. And if you're online, we're giving you a special warm welcome and have you standing here in spirit. And Reverend Tom will be going to present a small token, a small chalice for you to carry your light home. And so come forward. Let's see. And Robin? So we invite each one of you to say your name and pronouns if you use them.
Chase Petrie, he, him.
Quinn Deeds, he, him.
Ashley Blyler, she, her.
Hi, Fabian Yeager, he, him.
Annie Riot, she, her. Heather Eberhardt, she, her. And these are Jeffrey and Charlie, he, him.
Fran Stahl, she, her.
Roberta Mansfield, she, her.
Irene.
Elaine Kovacs, she, her.
Kate Joseph, she, her.
Catherine Williams, she, her. Nancy Scarlett, she, her, they.
Thomas Hammond, he, him.
Bruce Swanson.
Robert Olson, he, him.
Patrick State, he, him.
Brendan Buckley, he, him.
Kelly Scullin, she, her.
Deming Scullin Javier, he, him.
Eden Thompson, they, them.
Great, thank you. And just invite you, some people couldn't be with us today, or they're joined online from far away. You can read all of their names on the screen today. All right. So I invite the congregation to take part in the following ritual, and we will start with our new members. Let's see, the screen, there it is. So new members, let's read after me. I make to the congregation. I will try to live these values in my daily life. I will be present to the journey in understanding. I will be intentional about my own lifelong growth, learning, spiritual development. I will share in the work of this congregation and support its stewardship by giving of my time, talents, and treasure. Community where people of all ages learn from and support one another. I recognize that membership is a great blessing and a sacred responsibility, and I accept both with joy. Congregation, I invite you to stand. We receive you and your gifts with open hands and hearts. As you join us, we once again renew our commitment to this religious community. We are proud to have you among us and ready to journey together. Welcome.
Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams referred to our faith as a pilgrim church, a servant church on an adventure of the Spirit. The goal, he said, is the prophethood and priesthood of all believers, the one for the liberty of prophesying, the other for the ministry of healing. Today, we welcome all of you freely, openly, trustingly into this work of healing and prophetic visioning. And you freely, openly, trustingly accept us as your companions on this journey and this spiritual home in which to ground our sacred work. We welcome you with joy and celebration. And I just want to name one thing. We have just become essentially a new community. Every year when we re-covenant together like this, we become something new. So welcome back to those who are rejoining. Welcome for the first time for those that are joining and new to our community. And welcome to all of you, some of whom have been here for a very long time. Welcome to your renewed church.
You can be seated. Thank you.
And now it is the time for our children and youth and their teachers to be sung by a blessing to their classrooms. And if you're brand new or fairly new, I invite you to meet with Reverend Leah Angiri in the narthex, and she'll tell you more about our learning community and help you find your way. Let us all sing together.
Let us join now in a responsive reading. These are words of A. Powell Davies. minister of the All Souls Unitarian Church in Washington, D.C., and a leader in our faith in the 20th century. None of our private worlds is big enough. None of our private worlds is big enough for us to live a wholesome life in. We need the wider world of joy and wonder, of purpose and venture, of toils and tears. What are we, any of us, but strangers and sojourners forlornly wandering through the nighttime until we draw together and find the meaning of our lives in one another, dissolving our fears in each other's courage, making music together, and lighting torches to guide us through the dark. We belong together. Love is what we need, to love and to be loved. Let our hearts be open, and what we would receive from others let us give. For what is given still remains to bless the giver when the gift is love.
When life gets complicated, when life gets hard to understand, the simple things grow sacred, like the touch of another hand. Everything underrated, everything buried underneath, in the present gets appreciated when the future is a mystery. So I'm not bringing any answers, and I'm not sure if there's a lesson, but we can walk through this together and love each other through the question. And there may never be an answer on this side of the lesson, but I believe that love walks with us in the middle of the question. So when the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light you'll see, no, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid, just as long as you stand by me. So I'm not bringing any answers, and I'm not sure if there's a lesson, but we can walk through this together and love each other through the question. And there may never be an answer on this side of the lesson, but I believe that love walks with us in the middle of the question. When life gets complicated, it's language hard to understand, and the simple things grow sacred, like the touch of another hand.
You just know that we have a special musical guest when they come the week before to be with us and understand us. And Bobby Jo Valentine, you have chosen the perfect song for this congregation. To love each other through the question is what we do. If anyone's curious to know more or find out about Bobby Jo, there will be a table downstairs where you can do just that during coffee hour. And now it is my delight to introduce one of our new members, Chase Petrie, who's going to come and share a testimonial with all of you. Chase is a member of our Articulating Your Faith class, and it has been a joy to get to know him better these last few months. Welcome to our pulpit, Chase.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Allison, for introducing me, and thanks again, Jen, for asking me to speak. Hello, everyone. My name is Chase Petrie. I first arrived at this church around 6 months ago, having never before been exposed to Unitarian Universalism. From my adolescence through most of my 20s, my spirituality could best be described as a sort of uncommitted agnosticism. I knew what I didn't believe in, but over time I found myself lacking a larger spiritual framework within which I could belong and participate. At the same time, my story involves a fair amount of hardship that forced me to consider what I hold sacred. For example, I endured a trying battle with addiction, an experience that largely isolated me from the world. Eventually, I found recovery thanks to the guidance of those willing to show me a path forward and their willingness to stay by my side. As the years went on and my life became more full and rich, I realized a couple of essential truths about myself and my spirituality. The first of these truths is this: I don't have to figure everything out on my own. In fact, I'm better suited to approach life in all of its messiness and uncertainty when I lean on something larger than myself. Whereas I may find myself plagued by self-doubt when I isolate, it's in spaces like this that I encounter that healing spirit of love that is only born through community. The second truth I learned about myself, and in particular through this church, is that a beloved spiritual community can be found that does not tell me what to believe. I have had a myriad of conversations in this church that range from life and death to human nature and the existence of God. In each of these conversations, I encountered a unique perspective that I sometimes agreed with, and other times I did not. What held true each time, though, was a shared respect for one another and a willingness to accept that neither of us possesses the whole truth, that we instead must humbly seek the truth together. First Unitarian does not tell me what to believe, but it does encourage me to live a certain way. Here, I am encouraged to live with love at the center of all of my affairs, to practice compassion and work for justice. I joined this community because it introduced a covenantal faith and a loving fellowship that keep me rooted in sacred values day by day. These roots hold me close. In the wings that set me free, I continue to discover and cultivate more and more within the halls of this church as time goes on. I'm proud to be a member of this congregation, and I'm eager to contribute to its longevity. Part of that involves welcoming new members and encouraging them to dive right in. So if you are new or on the fence about joining, welcome. I can assure you there is a beautiful spiritual home here to be found, and you are surrounded by others who are glad you're here. I hope you'll stay and discover the same unifying love I was so blessed to encounter. Thank you.
Thank you, Chase. That was very moving. So I have just a couple of announcements about upcoming church happenings. The very first one that I want to be sure you all remember, does anyone know what tomorrow is? It's not a holiday. That's right, the last day to get in your auction events or items. Tomorrow, April 13th, is the last day to do that. And just a reminder the auction is really an opportunity for all of us to raise fun together as well as to raise funds. And the funds this year are going to our roof efforts. So we like to say, bid high, stay dry. And but really it's about multiple ways to gather and to get to know one another. And if you're wondering about ideas, about something you might be able to offer, you could look at last week's column where I listed, I think, 22 ideas. And we really help raise these funds together. And a lot of folks, how many people have ever been to an auction event and had a good time? Look at that. So please join us in this important effort. You can find the link to donate an item or especially events are wanted in this week's Front Steps. The second thing I want to publicize and invite you to share with your friends, you received an invitation to the Sewell Lecture, which is coming up on Saturday, April 25th at 1 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. right here in this sanctuary, and you received an invitation in your email this week. Please share it with a friend. We are hosting Sylvester Johnson, who is a scholar in the intersection of race, religion, and technology. And he's going to be talking about artificial intelligence as a tool for oppression, resistance, and liberation. And artificial intelligence is absolutely shaping our lives, and his aim is to imagine what an ethical future of engagement with that would be. And there will be an opportunity for a workshop following that lecture for folks that would like to participate in both ways. And you can find the link in this week's Front Steps to register for the event, and this event is free of charge. So let's fill the sanctuary as we learn more about this very important issue. And then finally, I want to mention that today, following the service, there is a board forum and senior minister update, and we're going to be talking about our new Committee on Right Relations, and we're going to be sharing information about the budget. So that is it for those announcements. In Elliott Chapel, thank you. Thank you. Our offering this morning and throughout the month of April will be shared with PICUN, Oregon's farm worker union. PICUN's mission is to empower farm workers and working Latinx families in Oregon by building community, increasing Latinx representation in elections, and advocating for state and national policy. PICUN is on the Oregon Steering Committee for the May Day Without an Immigrant event. And across the country and here in Portland, immigrant and labor justice organizations are calling for a general strike. No school, no work, no shopping. And our shared plate is supporting the efforts of this important solidarity work. If you'd like to donate by check or cash, our ushers will be coming through in just a moment. If you're at home, you can use the QR code on the screen, and in the sanctuary, it's easier to use the QR code on the slips in the racks in front of you. And if you're on Boxcast, you can also just click the Donate Now button. Thank you. Your generosity fuels a revolution of love.
I'm trading deadlines for a softer ceiling. I'm trading lonely for a truer feeling. I'm trading easy for a harder healing, but one that leaves me whole. I'm I'm trading running for a hand beside me. Trading my shadows for a light that won't hide me. I'm trading money for the love it won't buy me, and a little less control. And we pick up so much when we're living that we don't need to hold. We carry so much we don't need to own. No, but all that I need is what I've been given right inside this skin. And everything else that doesn't treat me well, I'm trading in. I'm trading in. I'm trading safety the world has sold me for something wilder and real and holy. For what the ghost of my father told me, that you're already home. Home. Anywhere you go is home. And we pick up so much when we're living that we don't need to own. We carry so much we don't need to hold. No, but all that I need I've already been given right inside this skin. And everything else that doesn't treat me well, I'm trading in. I'm trading in. I'm trading deadlines for a softer ceiling. Trading my lonely for a truer feeling. And I'm trading easy for a harder healing, but one that leads me home.
Ours is a caring community, and we hold one another through the milestone moments in our lives, through the sorrow, through the joy, through the transitions. And we are here with one another, holding each other in times of grief and celebrating in times of joyous milestones. If you ever have a milestone that you would like us to share publicly, or a private prayer that you hope that the ministers and lay ministers would pray with you throughout the week, you can send it to us via the form on our website at firstunitarianportland.org/pastoral-care. You can also light a candle and write down prayers in our left and right galleries at any time before, during, or following the service, and we receive these and pray these prayers with you. I have 3 milestones to share this morning. First, we have a memorial. The chancel flowers today are given in loving remembrance of Lisa Thomas Turple, who lived from 1952 to 2016 by the Thomas, Turple, and Chase families. And these are glorious buds this morning. And we also have 2 milestones to share about people who are facing illness in the hospital. Member Jean Kemp-Ware asks for prayers for her sister, Patty Kemp. Patty is in a coma with sepsis in Santa Fe. She asks that we all pray for Patty and her whole family as they face difficult decisions in the days ahead. And we're also holding member Julie Grice, who is back in OHSU Hospital this week. We send her good wishes for continued healing. And I'll mention at this point, because maybe you don't all know, that these beautiful flowers that adorn our sanctuary are so often given to celebrate a life. Did you know that they often travel to someone in need following the service? And one of our lay ministers is bringing the flowers to Julie at OHSU today. Will you pray with me? Spirit of life, hold us in our grief as we count the mounting loss of life of civilians and soldiers in the throes of war, of immigrants and trans beloveds who do not manage to survive callous policies, of people in our country whose illness grows fatal without access to adequate health care. Hold us in our encountering grace as we marvel at the images of the moon and the earth shining back at one another and at us from the Artemis mission. As we delight in spring rising up from the ground and sprouting from branches overhead, as we turn to our neighbors with care and compassion, as we witness in them the spark of the divine. Hold us in our embodiment of grit, as those involved in social justice efforts find the energy and hope to persist, as those in the hospital and in rehab find the way to healing, as those seeking to be wise leaders rise to opportunities and challenges. Hold us as we cultivate gratitude for our new members who have deepened their commitment to this community, for our longtime members who have been with us through all the twists and turns, for our visitors who found the curiosity and courage to cross a new threshold online or here in our sanctuary. All these things and so many others are our prayers this day. Amen, and blessed be, and may it be so. And now I invite you to fill up this space with your own prayers in the sacred silence we hold together. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we sing our doxology. Our reading is The Visible and the In by Marge Piercy. Some people move through your life like the perfume of peonies, heavy and sensual and lingering. Some people move through your life like the sweet, musky scent of cosmos, so delicate, if you sniff twice, it's gone. Some people occupy your life like moving men who cart off couches, pianos, and break dishes. Some people touch you so lightly, you're not sure it happened. Others leave you flat with footprints on your chest. Some are like those fall warblers. You can't tell from each other, even though you search Peterson's. Some come down hard on you like a striking falcon, and the scars remain, and you are forever wary of the sky. We all are waiting rooms at bus stations where hundreds have passed through unnoticed, and others have almost burned us down, and others have left us clean and new, and others have just moved in.
I wrote this next song just based on the notion that in the midst of the confusion and noise in the world, there is still a chorus that you can catch and sing along to. From the place where I now lay my shadow to my childhood home on Santa Barbara Drive. Although I'm ashamed to say it, I'll admit that it's been hard to find my tribe. When the winds of life start hurricaning, there's barely even time to touch the ground. There's so much beauty, so much pain, but I'm learning not to separate the sounds. So I stretch my crimson cord out, reaching for a distant shore where everything's okay and nothing's aching. But it's a long way across Jordan. There are boats I can't afford them, so I'll float to where the current takes me and sing along, let it go. It's not easy, I know, but life's a gift, then it goes, then it's gone. So sing along, so sing along. And the heart can be a painful dancer. It's much easier to let it turn to stone. And I don't have many answers. I just know that I don't want to be alone. No. So sing along, let me in. We are more than just skin. We are souls, fire and wind, together strong. In love we all tend to rust as we fall back to dust. But you are here, and life is short, and love's the song. So sing along, sing along, sing along. So as my song bleeds out with each midnight sky, let my love run deep, let my hate run dry. And they say that some things never die, but go on and on and on and on. So sing along, let it go. We are all headed home, and I believe that it's a place where we'll belong. In love we all tend to rust. We are children of dust, but in the end you can hate or trust the song. And sing along, sing along, sing along. 'Cause you are here and life is short and love's the song. You are here and life is short and love's the song. We are here and life is short and love's the song. So sing along.
Thank you, Bobby Jo. We are all headed home to a place where we belong. What a joy it was to welcome our new members earlier in the service. So glad all of you have decided to be here at this church and have formally joined or rejoined. That decision to join is really a decision to make this your spiritual home, your spiritual community. Now, the bylaws of the church require that you make a financial commitment that is generous within your means and to sign the membership book. And when people join, I'm always especially moved by that last part, signing the membership book. Now, there are volumes of those books in our archives that go all the way back to the founding of this church back in 1866. And there's something profound about joining a tradition that goes back so many, many years. Sometimes I like to imagine all of those people, most of whom I've never met, who have found community here over all these years, from one generation through another, through world wars, through times of prosperity and times of not so much prosperity here in our city and our world, through times of celebration and times of conflict, and yes, through pandemics. We're still finding our way from that last one, the last pandemic. They've sometimes been described, all of those people, as a great cloud of witnesses to our life now in this present moment. Each of us has an arrival story here, and for some of you, maybe that story began just this morning. For others, it may have begun a long time ago. And like those words from Marge Piercy's poem, we may leave a light footprint or an enduring one. Those stories may include being born into this tradition. Some of us have come here from many different paths. It's what we call sometimes a living tradition when we enter a tradition that's gone on for a long, long time. My own journey into this faith happened many years ago now. I was raised a Lutheran, and church was important in my family. In fact, I think my family's plan for me was that I would be a Lutheran minister. But life sometimes has other ideas for us. I knew that as a gay man, I really wasn't going to be welcomed as a Lutheran minister. I knew that the tradition would really not accept me fully for who I was. I flirted for a time with the Catholic Church. I love many parts of it, the mystery, the ritual. And yet I came to know that a tradition that didn't hold women and many others as equal was something I could not embrace either. So I was in my 20s, and I was working as an editor at a newspaper in Duluth, Minnesota. One night at a party with some work colleagues, and I was having a conversation with the spouse of one of those colleagues. We got to talking about spiritual journeys, and she said to me, "Well, you sound like the Unitarians might be a good place for you. I should try them out." And she seemed like a pretty smart person, so, well, I decided to do just that. It was not long after that I went to the Duluth congregation. At the time, it met in a small old stone church, beautiful little church that was in a neighborhood, a quiet neighborhood of Duluth. I went to the service. I was a little nervous, but people were friendly. I sat near the back. For the first time in my life, I saw a woman in the pulpit. Now, I have to explain that when I was a child, my mother was on the search committee for our Lutheran church, and my mother's absolute fear was that we would be forced to accept a woman minister. This was in the 1970s when women, particularly in the Lutheran tradition, were pretty rare. And to this day, I have an imagination that all the women ministers were sent to North Dakota where nobody really wanted to go. So I saw a woman for the first time, and I have to say that not only did I see a woman in the pulpit, but she was wearing a red dress. Now, somehow for me, this still, Lutheran at the day, all of that seemed very exciting and almost a little radical. I was drawn in and at the same time wondered what some of my Lutheran ancestors who were looking down and wondering what had happened to me. As I quickly became involved there before long, it was a good fit for me, and I had figured that out. Within a year, I had been asked to chair the annual fund drive at the church. Now, for our new members, not to worry, we're going to give you at least a couple years before we ask you to do that. But soon I had found my spiritual and religious home. We all have an arrival story here, I think. I think of the people who showed up one cold January morning. Their beloved son had died of a drug overdose that week, and when Sunday came, they said they needed to go somewhere, and so they showed up here for the first time. I think of the transgender person who came one day with big sunglasses for some anonymity and who sat quietly in the back, not knowing whether they would indeed be welcome here. I think of the young parents who show up, newborn child in hand, full of expectant and love and expectation about the community that they may raise their child in. I think of the people outraged by yet another injustice in our world and looking for a place to channel all of that energy into something positive. For others, it may be something less dramatic that made that Sunday they would arrive. Nowadays, often it's more a common story that someone has checked out our service online before actually making it here in person. Yes, I think we all have our arrival stories. And for some, it's a match. For others, maybe not. For some, maybe this is a step on a larger journey. For others, maybe we're here for a time to leave and eventually find our way back. Yes, stories of arriving and sometimes returning. In the poem, Marge Piercy used the image of the bus terminal that we're all passing in and out. One door leads to another, in and out of each other's lives. A common thread for most of us, I think, is some deep need to belong. We live in a world where we are connected in so many ways, with news reaching us instantly, constantly, and yet at the same time, it seems as if we're isolated in so many ways. Just walking down the street, more often than not, it seems as if we're mostly relating to that phone there in front of us. And so many messages that we get that have us focused on our differences more than what it is we have in common. But we need one another. Now, belonging is right up there with our most basic needs. First comes the need for survival, shelter, warmth, food, drink. Next comes the need for safety and for security, including freedom from danger and absence of threat. Once safety has been assured, belonging and love, usually found within our families and groups, within churches and other communities, then that becomes a priority. Maslow stressed that only when we're anchored in community do we develop self-esteem. We need to assure ourselves of our own worth as individuals. But community, no matter the context, is always is not always easy work. We learn ways that we are in need of others, how it is we are interdependent, but we also get plenty of messages about how we live in a world of scarcity and how what's around us really isn't enough, that what we have is dependent upon someone else having to do with less. The writer M. Scott Peck says that true community is in fact a very rare thing, that most of the time what we think of community may not really be real. For him, in true community, the differences between people are not glossed over to allow the communal to happen, but the differences actually make the community stronger. In the willingness to honor the differences, everyone comes out in a better place. Individuals are seen in the context of the whole community, of the whole body. Now, Peck defines 4 stages of community that begins with what he calls pseudo-community. That's what looks like community and feels like community, but really may not be at all. Things are supposed to feel good here, and nobody has any disagreements. That's not allowed in this phase. Everyone seems to be connected. Everyone may even profess happiness. But underneath it may be a sense that everyone just needs to conform to fit in. The way we do this to avoid individual differences and therefore avoid conflict at all costs. He says the next stage is chaos. Here, everyone tries to make everyone fit into a certain image in order to keep things in place. When everyone doesn't get along with this, does not go along with this, things can fall apart. People now see differences right out in the open. They push their agenda without any sense of the whole or how, and often chaos can ensue. Nobody knows what to do. Now, differences can be healthy, but here they are just part of everyone pushing their agenda over others. And so where does this leave? Well, that would be to the third phase, and perhaps the most difficult part of community, the stage of emptiness. People don't know what to do. It's when the defenses come down and people let go of their expectations. They're willing to be open with each other and what is happening. It means coming from a place of humility and letting go of a need for control. Some of us have a need for control and force the outcome. It's sitting with a degree of emptiness. But from this, Peck says, that's where true community can come. We can trust enough to be open to how we might change or grow ourselves in the presence of others. We move from a place of expecting everyone to conform to a place of accepting and honoring differences. In fact, we actually come to see those differences as making us stronger. And it's from this place that the possibility for community, what he calls true community, can emerge. Something that happens in a group, something that cannot be controlled, but happens in its own good time. And it's something that has power not to weaken individuals, but actually to make the individual stronger. But it takes courage sometimes to let go of our egos. It takes courage to let go of expectations and fears and to really be open to the people accompanying us on the journey. We go from wanting to control others to being in genuine relationship with them if we really pull this off. We see them not as opposed to us, but as connected. We're stronger because of that connection. It means bringing all of our imperfections and quirks into the mix and together making meaning, making community. But it all takes work, sometimes lots of work. I want to talk for a moment about the church, the community that connects all of us. I've noticed over the years that there are many ways that we articulate what it is we're looking for in a community. One of the ways we do that is to talk about what it is we want from a place, but it's more from a consumer model, in the same way that we talk about wanting this or that from Amazon this week. We so easily come to see ourselves as consumers, not what we will give, but what we will receive. We see ourselves not so much by who we are, but what it is, that goal. But of course, a church is a different kind of beast. It's hard to quantify the value of covenant, a sacred promise that people together in community make. Belonging needs to transcend our individual selves, and we are looking to be connected with something larger, and hopefully that can happen. It's a fundamental longing. How a body of people lives out a mission in the world is something kind of mysterious. And a church is a very human institution. It is the sum of all of the people in it. And as Allison said earlier, each time we welcome new members, each time we gather, there's a new incarnation of this community. It's always changing, always in flux. It's the sum of the people. It's hopefully what calls us out of isolation. We're looking to belong somewhere, to know others, to do good work in the world, and to be called out of ourselves, to be called out of our isolation. But really doing that does mean time and work, and often even a little messiness. Conflict can come into play. Things are not always easy. The theologian Myra Rivera, in her book Touch of Transcendence, explores human relationship across difference as a core part of our spiritual lives and how it is that we're connected to the divine. Rivera notes that we humans are oriented towards relationality, that this orientation towards relationship depends on our ability to see each other as distinct and separate beings, that part of our task is to witness to each other's uniqueness, and through that witness, to touch each other. As we encounter difference, we each encounter the other. It's in that space where the Spirit lives. The journey is about leaning into that gift of relationship with others, that in recognizing the holy in the other, we come to more fully be aware of the holiness that is present in each of us, that our own lives are so very much interconnected with the lives of those around us. The church, at its best, manages to call each of us and all of us into that place of being our best selves, alone and together. It calls us over and over again into covenant, not to be perfect, but to make a space, to make a community where we can begin again in love, sometimes over and over again, where we keep coming to that place of arriving and yet still arriving again. These are not easy times we are living in. I don't need to tell you that. This week we saw our country come to the edge of taking the war with Iran to a place that was truly terrifying to imagine. I note how many of us have learned in our particular ways of coping with all of this craziness. And I noticed this week that those coping mechanisms for some just didn't seem to work like they usually do. No, these are not easy times. So much is at risk. So much is under threat. Too often these days, if you are like me, you really don't know what to do. We don't know where we can turn. But what I noticed this week was that the first impulse was for us to come together, to look to when we would be together again, for us to remind ourselves that first and foremost, we are not alone. Somehow, that says something about the role of the church, of us coming together with all the uncertainty in our world, with all the chaos and with all the craziness in our world, with so very much at stake. We can't lose that impulse. So often these days, there is so much that seems stuck in our world. Instead of coming together, mostly it's about seeing ourselves on one side of something and others on the other side. If there is an us, there needs to be a them. Imagining a world where we see ourselves with some sense of common purpose feels more and more elusive these days. But I think underneath all of that is that wanting to have places, to have communities where we do belong. And how we do that, whether it's with intention or whether it's by some kind of luck or maybe grace, we find that we find what it is we need. And hopefully others are there with us along the way. Sometimes when I step back and think about our coming together on Sunday mornings here and online, I'm actually really amazed. Now just think about it. We make our way downtown or we make our way to some screen and tune in. Some Sundays may click, others not so much. We may encounter just the right person to connect with, or maybe not. But with time, we come to know the gifts we bring and the gifts that others bring to us. But over and over again, we're invited to see ourselves in the context of the whole and how our individual selves, yes, how we are all connected with others, so interdependent for all that sustains us. Community, and certainly it can be an elusive thing, and yet we come to true community. It doesn't always happen. It's a place where we bring all of our individual and communal imperfections and our hopes and our dreams and everything, the gifts, all the gifts that we bring. And what comes out of that, perhaps with some mix of luck and maybe grace, we can't always know. But we put ourselves with others, and hopefully in that process, take those first steps towards finding a place where we too know we can belong. The work of community, the work of belonging is never easy work. It's in fact the work of a lifetime. Seeing ourselves as having a place at the table and making a space for others too to join. It's sometimes messy, it's sometimes chaotic, but we come to learn that sometimes that's the way life is. Sometimes that may be the path to something that is real and holy. We make our way in the world. As we do that, may each of us come to know that indeed we do belong, and on that way there we meet surprises, we meet fellow travelers we could never have imagined. May that be the path in the end that will help each of us find our way home. Once again, welcome everyone here to First Unitarian Church. Blessed be, and amen. Let us now sing together.
Gathered side by side, circle
A reminder that after the service, join for social hour. There's a forum in the Elliott Chapel. And don't forget, tomorrow's the deadline for that auction. Sign up early and often with your events. And so, as we go from this place, in this season of growth, may you find yourself planted in fertile soil. May you grow and may you thrive wherever you are. For this is the day you and I have been given. So let us rejoice in it and be glad. Go in peace. Practice love. Amen.
Rooster crows at dawn, hibernate instead. Deer eyes on the headlights up ahead. Migrate with the herd, circle around the sun. Hope that all the groundhog days are done. What to do when all the reasons have worn thin. After all, we're only human animals with fur and souls and skin. Well, keep your fox eyes focused on the beauty underneath, and keep your whale heart open. That is all you really need to love life. To love life. Teeth and sweat and blood and tears. Tell me what it's worth. Temporary pauperance on this earth. What's the reason not to stay inside the shell? After all, we're only human animals with limbs and souls and cells. Well, just keep your fox eyes focused on the beauty underneath, and keep your whale heart open. That is all you really need to love life. To love life. To love life. When they don't love you anymore. When your own story is the only left worth fighting for. When no one's opening the doors. When the wolf comes out at night and there's no one left inside, are we gonna be alright? Well, keep your fox eyes focused. There is beauty underneath, and keep your whale heart open. That is all you really need to love life. To love life, to love life.